Have you ever felt like your brain is constantly craving something it can't quite get? That pull? The endless checking of your phone, the sugar, the TV, the little habits that seem harmless are all wiring your brain in ways you may not even realize. But here's the truth. You can take control. You can rewire your brain, even in your 60 seconds, 70 seconds, or beyond, and it starts with something called a dopamine detox. Dopamine is the chemical that makes us feel pleasure, reward, and motivation. It's what drives us to reach for things that make life enjoyable. But here's the catch. Our modern lives are full of small, constant hits of dopamine. Every scroll, every sugar bite, every notification is rewiring your brain to crave more and more, leaving you exhausted, restless, and dissatisfied. The good news is, this wiring is reversible. Your brain has an incredible ability to heal and reset. And a dopamine detox is the key. This isn't about deprivation, it's about retraining your brain to feel true pleasure again. Start small, 1 hour, one afternoon, even one day of stepping back from the constant hits of instant gratification. Notice the clarity, the calm, the simple joy in moments that used to feel ordinary. Your brain starts to crave meaning over momentary pleasure. Over time, this rewiring restores balance, reduces cravings, improves focus, and gives you a renewed sense of control over your life. Seniors often think, I'm too old to change my habits, but let me tell you, your brain is more adaptable than you think. A dopamine detox isn't just about avoiding things, it's about reclaiming your time, your focus, and your joy. When you step away from the noise, even briefly, you reconnect with what truly matters: relationships, passions, health, and the deep satisfaction of a life fully lived. So start today. Turn off the distractions. Put away the endless scrolling and give your brain a chance to reset. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. Every small step in your dopamine detox rewires your brain for a calmer, sharper, more joyful life. And the best part? It's never too late to start. Your brain is ready. Are you? Every day, your brain is bombarded with tiny bursts of pleasure. Emails, notifications, sugary snacks, TV shows, or even the comforting pull of habits that feel safe. Each of these seemingly harmless moments releases dopamine, the chemical that signals reward and pleasure. Over time, these constant hits begin to reshape the way your brain functions. You might not notice it at first, but gradually your brain starts to crave more, seeking the next hit, the next quick reward, leaving you restless, distracted, and drained. It's not a moral failing, and it's not about weakness. It's biology. Your brain is simply adapting to the environment you've created. The good news is that this wiring is not permanent. The same brain that has been trained to chase endless, fleeting pleasures can also be retrained to regain balance, focus, and genuine satisfaction. This is where the concept of a dopamine detox becomes life-changing. A dopamine detox is not about deprivation or punishment. It's about giving your brain a chance to step back from constant stimulation and reset itself. By intentionally reducing or pausing activities that provide quick, frequent hits of dopamine, you allow your brain to recalibrate. The cravings begin to fade, your mind becomes sharper, and ordinary moments start to feel extraordinary again. For seniors, this can be particularly transformative. What may have once felt like boredom or restlessness can now become opportunities for reflection, creativity, and connection. Think about the patterns you've grown accustomed to: the mindless scrolling on your phone, the rush to check notifications, the habit of turning to sugar or caffeine for comfort. These patterns have been reinforced over decades, creating neural pathways that make it harder to experience satisfaction from slower, more meaningful sources of pleasure. But every time you step away from these constant hits, even briefly, you start to build new pathways. You begin to retrain your brain to find joy in stillness, in conversation, in movement, and in experiences that offer real fulfillment rather than instant gratification. The first step is awareness. Notice how often you reach for the quick reward and recognize that this is shaping your brain. Then create intentional pauses. Times when you step away from distractions and allow your mind to rest. Start small. An hour without your phone, a single afternoon without TV or unnecessary digital stimulation. Observe the subtle shifts in your thinking, mood, and energy. Over time, these small steps accumulate into profound change. You are not simply avoiding dopamine, you are reclaiming it, redirecting it toward the things that truly matter. Your brain has remarkable plasticity. Even as you age, every conscious choice to step back from constant stimulation strengthens your ability to focus, to feel satisfaction, and to experience life more fully. The dopamine detox is not just a tool, it's a pathway to reclaim your brain, to break free from the cycle of craving, and to restore your energy, clarity, and joy. It is proof that your mind can adapt, heal, and thrive at any stage of life. The power to change is already within you. All it takes is the courage to hit pause and let your brain reset. One of the most powerful lessons about our brains is understanding the difference between pleasure and craving. At first, they feel similar. Both give you a burst of enjoyment, a spark of satisfaction, but they are fundamentally different forces. Pleasure is natural, measured, and restorative. It brings balance, calm, and joy. Craving, on the other hand, is relentless, insatiable, and often disguised as something we need to feel normal. As we age, it becomes even more important to distinguish between these two, because the choices we make can either drain our energy or restore our vitality. The habits we have built over decades, reaching for that sugary treat, scrolling endlessly on a phone, watching TV as a way to escape, are often rooted in craving, not true pleasure. They give a fleeting hit of dopamine, but leave the brain hungry for more. Craving is deceptive because it tricks the brain into believing that the next quick reward is essential, that life would somehow be less enjoyable without it. But here's the truth: cravings never satisfy. They only reinforce the cycle, rewiring the brain to want more, faster, and stronger. Pleasure, on the other hand, is abundant in simple, meaningful experiences: conversations with loved ones, a walk in the morning air, reading a good book, or savoring a healthy meal. These sources of pleasure don't hijack your brain, they nourish it. Learning to recognize the difference is critical because it shifts your life from chasing temporary highs to cultivating lasting satisfaction. A dopamine detox is the ultimate tool for this shift. By stepping away from constant sources of stimulation, you create space to experience true pleasure. At first, it can feel uncomfortable because the brain is wired to crave quick hits. You might feel restless, bored, or even irritable. This is your brain recalibrating, slowly rewiring itself to find joy in slower, more deliberate experiences. Over time, as you resist the pull of cravings, ordinary activities that once seemed mundane begin to feel fulfilling. Eating a healthy meal without distraction, reading a chapter of a book, or simply sitting in quiet reflection can bring a level of pleasure that is deeper and more lasting than anything a quick dopamine hit can offer. Understanding pleasure versus craving also empowers decision-making. When you recognize that a behavior is driven by craving, you can choose differently. You can pause, observe, and redirect your attention to something that brings meaningful pleasure instead of temporary stimulation. This awareness rewires the brain's reward system, reducing the power of cravings and increasing your ability to enjoy life intentionally. Seniors in particular benefit because they can reclaim years of lost focus and energy by prioritizing experiences that nourish the mind and body rather than those that simply feed the craving cycle. Ultimately, distinguishing between pleasure and craving is a form of liberation. It allows you to take control of your brain rather than letting your habits control you. By learning to savor real pleasure and resist compulsive cravings, you open the door to clarity, calm, and sustained joy. Your brain is capable of this transformation at any age. It only requires awareness, intention, and the courage to step away from the instant rewards that keep you stuck. This is not just a choice. It is a reclaiming of your life, one moment of true pleasure at a time. Change doesn't happen overnight, and the path to rewiring your brain is built on small, intentional steps. Many people think that a dopamine detox requires drastic measures or long periods of deprivation, but in reality, the most powerful shifts come from consistent, manageable actions. Even tiny pauses from constant stimulation can have a profound impact over time. The key is understanding that your brain is incredibly adaptable, and each small choice to step back from distractions, cravings, or instant rewards strengthens your ability to experience life in a more balanced and meaningful way. Start with simple experiments: 1 hour without your phone, 1 afternoon without TV, or even a single day free from mindless digital scrolling can reset the patterns your brain has become accustomed to. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. You might notice a sense of restlessness or even mild anxiety. This is normal. It is your brain reacting to the absence of constant dopamine hits. But here's the beauty. Every moment you resist the pull of these habits, your brain is forming new pathways that value clarity, focus, and intentional pleasure. These small steps are not just incremental, they are cumulative. Each pause, each moment of presence builds on the last, creating a lasting rewiring of the brain's reward system. The transformative power of these small steps becomes especially evident when you pay attention to the changes in your daily life. Tasks that once felt overwhelming now feel manageable. You notice subtle joys in the world around you, the sound of birds in the morning, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the satisfaction of a deep conversation. These experiences were always there, but constant stimulation and distraction had dulled your awareness. As your brain begins to recalibrate, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the simple pleasures that bring true satisfaction start to replace the fleeting hits of dopamine that previously dominated your day. Consistency is more important than intensity. You don't need to undertake an extreme detox to see results. What matters is the commitment to step back regularly, to give your brain the space it needs to reset. Over time, these moments of pause strengthen your self-control, sharpen your focus, and enhance your overall sense of well-being. Seniors in particular can experience profound benefits because these small, intentional steps help reclaim energy, attention, and mental clarity that may have been lost to years of habitual overstimulation. The key takeaway is that transformation doesn't require grand gestures. It is built through small, deliberate choices repeated over time. Each moment you resist distraction and allow your mind to rest is a victory. Each pause teaches your brain that it can derive joy and satisfaction without constant stimulation. In this way, the dopamine detox is not a punishment, it is a training ground for your brain. Through these consistent, manageable steps, you are not only rewiring your brain, but also reclaiming control over your habits, your focus, and ultimately, your life. Every small pause is a step toward greater clarity, calm, and joy, proving that meaningful change is possible at any age. Many people assume that as we age, our brains lose the ability to change, that the patterns we've built over decades are permanent and unchangeable. That couldn't be further from the truth. The human brain is astonishingly adaptable. Even in your 60 seconds, 70 seconds, or beyond, neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, remains with us throughout life, allowing us to form new habits, break old patterns, and regain control over how we think, feel, and respond to the world. This means it's never too late to reclaim your focus, reset your habits, and experience life with greater clarity and joy. The dopamine detox is a perfect example of how seniors can harness neuroplasticity to their advantage. Many older adults have accumulated years of habits shaped by constant stimulation, whether it's digital distractions, sugar, or other instant rewards. These patterns may feel ingrained, but they are far from permanent. Each intentional pause, each step away from habitual sources of dopamine, creates opportunities for the brain to form new connections. At first, the change may feel subtle, almost imperceptible, but repeated consistently, these small adjustments compound, gradually strengthening pathways that reward balance, mindfulness, and meaningful experiences rather than instant gratification. Age is not a barrier, it is a perspective. The key is understanding that the brain's ability to change doesn't vanish. It simply requires deliberate, conscious effort. By embracing this fact, seniors can approach habits and behaviors with optimism rather than resignation. It's about shifting from the mindset of I can't change to I can rewire my brain and reclaim my life. Every choice to step back from distractions, every moment of intentional focus is an investment in the health and functionality of your brain. Over time, this rewiring reduces cravings, increases patience, and enhances the ability to experience pleasure from meaningful, lasting sources rather than fleeting hits of dopamine. Practical steps matter. Start by identifying the behaviors that have been controlling your attention and energy. It could be excessive screen time, mindless snacking, or compulsive habits you've tolerated for years. Then, create small, intentional breaks to disrupt these patterns. The first few times may be uncomfortable, and you may feel restless, even frustrated. That discomfort is actually a sign that your brain is adapting. It is forming new pathways. strengthening the circuits that allow you to experience life with focus, clarity, and calm. The impact is profound. Seniors who embrace these changes report improved mental clarity, greater emotional stability, and an increased capacity to find joy in everyday experiences. By leveraging neuroplasticity, you are not only reducing the power of cravings, but also building resilience, focus, and the ability to fully engage with life on your terms. The dopamine detox becomes more than a temporary experiment. It becomes a lifelong tool for mental well-being, proving that the brain's capacity to change is one of the most powerful advantages we have at any age. Every deliberate action, every pause from constant stimulation is a testament to the brain's remarkable adaptability and your ability to reclaim control no matter your stage in life. The ultimate goal of a dopamine detox is not just to survive your habits or manage cravings, it is to truly thrive. Too often, people live their later years on autopilot, reacting to impulses and distractions instead of living intentionally. The constant pull of notifications, sugar, television, and other sources of instant gratification can leave your mind scattered, your energy drained, and your joy fleeting. But when you embrace a dopamine detox, you are taking deliberate steps to reclaim control over your brain, your habits, and your life. This process is about transforming the way you experience the world, cultivating a sense of fulfillment that lasts far longer than any temporary pleasure. Thriving begins with awareness. Notice the moments in your day where you automatically reach for a habit that gives a quick dopamine hit. Recognize the difference between craving and genuine pleasure. Each time you pause and choose intentionally, you are strengthening your brain's ability to focus, enjoy, and engage with life in meaningful ways. Seniors, in particular, can benefit profoundly because the brain is capable of adaptation at any age. This means it is never too late to reshape your habits, enhance your focus, and increase your capacity for joy. Every conscious choice to step away from distraction is a step toward thriving. The beauty of this approach is that thriving doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence. You don't need to eliminate all sources of stimulation overnight. You simply need to start practicing intentional breaks, even small ones. An hour without your phone, a mindful walk, or a period of quiet reflection may seem minor. But these small victories accumulate. They strengthen the neural pathways that reward focus, presence, and authentic pleasure rather than compulsive cravings. Over time, this rewiring allows you to reclaim energy that was previously drained by constant overstimulation and directs it toward experiences that truly matter. As you continue, you will notice a transformation. Ordinary moments that were once overlooked suddenly feel rich and rewarding. A conversation with a friend, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the satisfaction of completing a simple task. These moments, once drowned out by constant distractions, now become sources of real joy. Thriving means being fully present in life, rather than chasing fleeting highs that leave you wanting more. It is about replacing the pull of habit with the power of choice, and the results extend far beyond momentary pleasure. Your mind becomes clearer, your energy more sustainable, and your overall well-being profoundly improved. Thriving also means living intentionally, making decisions that align with your values, passions, and goals. The dopamine detox equips you with the tools to focus on what matters most, to invest your time and energy wisely, and to experience life on your own terms. It is not merely a strategy for managing cravings. It is a philosophy for reclaiming life, proving that no matter your age, you have the power to transform your brain, your habits, and your happiness. By embracing this approach, you move from simply surviving to fully thriving, creating a life that is calmer, sharper, and infinitely more joyful. Every conscious pause, every deliberate choice is a step toward the vibrant, fulfilling life you deserve.